Kakai pot kababnya syapang ki Lymbit jong ke India ka penpawi ka jingdon kam kirki ban penne pensa ha ka bagi riu syampang kin penpawi ka benta ka bakong san jongki ha ka ba penne pensa ya ka saudong saukun ka maryang. Ya ka ni kakai pot la pelait ha shlong ha ka arpasan trik lebir ka kedau ba ka Meghalaya watla ka dan Tang 0.67% na ka jaka jongkari hynrei ka depan ka jaka badan jan shiteng na ki Lymbit ki ba im ha India. Ya ka di kakai pot la pelait pa ba da Principal Secretary Shah Governor H.C. Chaudhary ha ka jingalang ka ba penlong da ka Northeastern Regional Center of the Zoological Survey of India. Habakran hakate kasingi u Chaudhary ula batai syapang ki Lymbit ki ja jing thau ki ba phalatam da ka bak dawi ka jinglong jongki baki thia mensingi bat bam hakapor menmien bar ka jing sngo thu ki beriu syapang jongki aduna. Ula batai ka benta jongki ha ka ban penmi sbo ya ki jing thung jing tam ka pen khut ki jabo jaban da ka ba penksan baki ki jing no sinyang bonsin kim yo jing itho. U Chaudhary ula krenru ya ka jing sngo thu bakla baki Lymbit ki dei ki bawan ra ya ka khlam COVID-19 hynrei omdan sakhi satar ban penthikna ya kani. Ula ai khublei ki nongwat benya ki babanjur ya ka jingdan kam jong ka Meghalaya ban penne pensa ya ki Lymbit. Haba ya kren bat kilat pthai khubor Rohit Chakravarti India Bat Project Manager ula ong ka daw bangwan ra ya kan kai phan kalong ba ki dan bon ba ki Lymbit ban penne pensa ha India bat ki duna bhai ki briu ki basngo thu ban ka ba khams new shushu kalong ba ya ki Lymbit omsham na shim khya ban a jinga da ban penne pensa. Ka kai phan ka bala pen khre da ki lai pasangut ki nongwat benya ya ki Lymbit na ki arp nyautli ki jaka puli hakeleng kari India ki bu ya kalinti ban wat benya bat penne pensa ha ki shipos number 1. U Chakravarti ula penpawi ki mat bakong san naka kai phan kentup ya ka than chatei la mi i kabla sha puli benya bha ringkat bat ka jingla ban wat benya ya ka maryang bat ki jingpang. Ka than chatei la mi i kalong shisha ka badang duna ka jingpuli bat ka don shibun ka lan ban le ya ka jat jingpuli ba pher om tang ban batai ki jat Lymbit ki bathamai ula ong bat benrap ka jingjak khlia ka maryang ru kala bandan ka jingta e ki Lymbit bat ki wei ki maran.
On a very mysterious species. Why mysterious? Because bat is the most, if you look at the various animals which we know, bat is the most mysterious because it's like the dark places. It becomes active when everyone sleeps. It sleeps upside down. And it's a very least recognized species. It helps in pollination, it helps in the seed dispersal, it helps in as a natural waste management. It gives you the manure, which is very important manure. But people don't recognize that. It's really understood. And it is the most maligned species. Most maligned because when the coronavirus struck the world, many of us, including those who know the bats from a little bit more than others, initially believed that it originated from the bats. But now, still now, there is no conclusive evidence that it has played any role. So this is a species which so I once again congratulate all the researchers who were part of this very important collaborative effort, and then I also thank them to release this book at the most appropriate place, as Mr. Rohit has already explained, because Meghalaya is a place which constitutes only 0.67% of the geographical area of the country, but is home to about half of the bat biodiversity, and then the search for bat is still going on. So when we came out with a publication on the bats of Meghalaya along with from Sekia, where I could say I just their work, but then that time 65 species were described in the book. but now we already have one more. And then there is no end. There will be many more species which we are sure that we will be finding the researchers from the ZSI, researchers from the so many other institutes, will find definitely more species. And then the events like this, work like this, especially the work like this, which has basically collected all the information about the bat in a very, very systematic and organized manner, and brought out the key issues related to their ecological importance, economic importance, their role in the entire ecological balance, and then the threats which this wonderful species are facing. So I'm sure that this book will be a very important milestone in the efforts for the conservation of this important species.
Today is called the State of India's Bats. It's a collaborative effort of 37 researchers from 34 researchers from 27 different institutions, and the reason why we brought out this report is that there are so many bats to conserve in India, and there are so few people on the ground. And to make it worse, bats are not given enough attention in our entire conservation movement in India. So because of that, we thought about bringing this report out. And in this particular report, the aim of this report is to prepare like a roadmap for research and conservation of bats in India in the next 10 years. So there is a fundamental difference in which why bats are interesting pollinators in comparison to bees. The reason being that most of the fruit-eating bats fly maybe 10 times longer than bees can fly in a single day. And that makes a lot of difference because what is important for flowers is that their pollen is transported as far as possible, because that is what ensures that there is a mix of genes of the same species in the landscape. So, and that is something that bats are capable of doing. And the same goes for their seed dispersal, that when they're eating the fruits, most other animals would just drop the seed right there, and that's not great because the seed then has to compete with the parent plant, so it doesn't germinate. But when the seed is transported far away from the parent plant, then its chances of germination also increase. So bats are really just like gardeners on a night duty. If bees are doing it during the day, then we need these bats to do this during the night. The most important things that the most important key points of the report, in my opinion, would be that that firstly, the Northeast is really understudied, and there is a lot of potential in the Northeast to do different kinds of studies, not just restricted to describing new species of bats. We know for sure there are new species of bats here just waiting to be described, but at the same time also ecological studies. A lot of the species that are found in the Northeast are what we call data deficient, so they're not not fully studied. So and then there's this whole angle about diseases as well, that and hunting is a very popular thing here. So so how might that translate to more outbreaks of zoonotic diseases in the Northeast? That's an important question. The other important thing for me is the studies on pollution and its impacts on bats. This is a completely unknown field in India, and we constantly keep ranking very high in all the in all the pollution levels, pollution rankings in the world. So there is a lot of chance that our bats and generally wildlife in India is suffering from the consequences of pollution. So that's something that needs to be studied. The other thing, point number 3, would be the benefits of bats. Like, we know that they control pest insects, we know that they disperse seeds, and they pollinate flowers, but to what extent do they do that? I think that information is very crucial to change the whole public's idea about bats and to influence policymakers' decisions towards protecting bats. And point number 5, and my last point, would be, like I highlighted in my presentation, bat conservation should not be seen just as a wildlife conservation issue. It is an issue of overall environmental, overall human well-being, because it touches upon human health, it touches upon agriculture. There are fertilizers from bat guano that we can make use of in small-scale farming. There are a lot of benefits that we get from bats overall, and also media, that the media's reporting and the way it reports about bats is going to shape everybody's opinion about bat conservation. So we need this partnership of different governmental and non-governmental bodies to conserve bats effectively in the country. The report 66 species, but since the report has been produced, two more species have been added. So we have 68 species in Meghalaya, and this is astounding diversity, because that basically makes Meghalaya the most diverse state for bats in India. And considering the size of Meghalaya, that's even more remarkable, because it's a small state, but thanks to its caves, thanks to its forests, thanks to its people, it has the highest bat diversity in India.